This includes the command to return to the base after the body dies, so that the same kind of shock and hypnosis can be done again and again and again forever. The hypnotic command also tells the patient to forget to remember. Never forget to remember.
The boy has got his own money!
House Hill, Dark Enlightenment.
Because guess what?
Without further ado, the Roswell incident, the alien, Ariel.
How can it be so bad? Because if it's good, then there's no reason to keep it secret, right? And I think Matt Brown talks about that as well. There's no reason to keep it secret if it's good. So, okay, let's say it is bad. It's got to be pretty bad in order to keep it like that much of a secret, because I think the public could handle aliens. Complete speculation, and they could be wrong, but I'm saying as a thought experiment, what would that be? And I think the scariest thing that I could possibly imagine is when you're free of the physical body and you go beyond and you think, oh, this is, I leave the Matrix, that's still them.
Think about how many memories, how much is erased, how many lives have you lived, how many millions of years has this life force that is you and Isby, how many years has it lived? When we talk about the Matrix, we talk about Star Wars, we talk about all these different movies, Indiana Jones. All of these movies have some measure of truth to them that eventually comes to us. And after a while, you can say, well, it's just a coincidence. And then after a little while passes, it keeps happening over and over again. When is it not a coincidence? When do you figure out that someone has access to the future and they're showing you? Some of the most wealthy people are in the movie industry. So it would make sense that they have access to these types of ideas, access to these type of events that may have actually happened. After the shock, a series of post-hypnotic suggestions are used to install false memories and a false time orientation in each Isby. This includes the command to return to the base after the body dies, so that the same kind of shock and hypnosis can be done again and again and again forever. The hypnotic command also tells the patient to forget to remember. Never forget to remember. Become enlightened. I once heard of a device that was located on the moon that was a supposed soul catcher. Could this be related to the force shield that is trapping our souls, that is keeping us in one area, that is imprisoning us even? What if this information is just so kind of grim that's why the government can't share this extraterrestrial information with us? For you to think about you being imprisoned here on Earth, and then you being imprisoned inside of a body. You're in two prisons at the same time. Does the government want you to know that? Me, myself, I wouldn't care. As long as I know the truth, it's going to be what it is anyway. So why not know the truth? Why not be enlightened? Why live a lie? Why would you want to live a lie? Why would you not want information, which is power. Just ask Amazon and Google and Microsoft. Information is power. When the body of the ISB dies, they depart from the body. They are detected by the force screen. Then they are captured and ordered by hypnotic command to return to the light. The idea of heaven and the afterlife are part of hypnotic suggestion. The part of the treachery that makes the whole mechanism work. So, don't go towards the light, according to Ariel. It's all a ruse. So far, this is very believable, I must say. I mean, we flipping it up, we lightening it up today, but it's turning out to be not so light. I mean, there's some soul-stirring stuff. If you really think about the possibility of the truth in this is not new. Nothing's new under the sun, but I've heard this within my lifetime. The idea that everything is flipped, that the devil is actually God, and that the devil created us with the divine spark of the real God. And so he trapped us because we have that divine spark in us that he had to use to animate us because he couldn't do it himself. And now we are enslaved after he separated the man and the woman. We were once one, but we were separated to weaken us. And then we were put into flesh bodies, and then we were put on earth, our prison that we now live in, courtesy of God.
Huh? What? No!
It's real. It's a real mental fuck if you think about it. But you have to think about stuff like this. What if you believe in a total ruse? Who is the king of deception? Who is the real devil? Do you want to return to the light? Very questionable now. After the ISB has been shocked and hypnotized to erase the memory of the life just lived, the ISB is immediately commanded hypnotically to report back to Earth, as though they were on a secret mission to inhabit a new body. Each ISB is told that they have a special purpose for being on Earth, but of course, there is no purpose for being in a prison, at least not for the prisoner. That's deep. This alien is bringing it. This extraterrestrial biological entity is bringing the dark enlightenment sauce. That's dark and enlightening. Man. There is no purpose for being in a prison. This is all a ruse. And we're caught up in this bullshit, this meat body with all this supposed stuff. This ain't even our element. We are light beings. Everything we do know, even though it's man-written, man-made ideas, theories, all of them point to the same scenario. At some point, you have to say, if the same thing keeps happening over and over and over and over again, when did you say this is not a coincidence?
I don't like this. I don't like I don't like this at all. This is what's going on. This is not cool. Don't do that, old empire.
I think it's pretty cool.
Quit it.
Any undesirable ISBs who are sentenced to Earth were classified as untouchable by the old empire. This includes anyone that the old empire judged to be criminals who are too vicious to be reformed or subdued, as well as other criminals such as sexual perverts or beings unwilling to do any productive work. So these are your categories. If you're here in this prison, according to Ariel, the old empire judged you to be criminals who are too vicious to be reformed or subdued, as well as other criminals such as sexual perverts. And we know it's a lot of sexual deviants on this prison. In any prison, in the pen, anywhere. Now, that's a large amount of them. And lazy motherfuckers. An untouchable classification of ISBs also includes a wide variety of political prisoners. This includes ISBs who are considered to be non-compliant free thinkers or revolutionaries who make trouble for the government of various planets of the old empire. Of course, anyone with a previous military record against the old empire is also shipped off to Earth. A list of untouchable includes artists, painters, singers, musicians, writers, actors, and performers of every kind. For this reason, Earth has more artists per capita than any other planet in the old empire. Are you entertained? Give me my entertainment. Entertain me on this prison. Untouchables also include intellectuals, inventors, and geniuses in almost every field, since everything in the old empire considered valuable has long been since created or invented over the last few trillion years. They have no further use for such beings. This includes skilled managers also, which are not needed in a society of obedient, robotic citizens. Anyone who is not willing or able to submit to the mindless economic, political, and religious servitude as a tax-paying worker in the class system of the old empire are untouchable and sentenced to receive memory wipeout and permanent imprisonment on Earth. It's an interesting concept to think that almost every soul on this planet is somehow an outlaw. But that wasn't the only category included. There's also political prisoners and rebels and, inventors that skills are no longer needed. There's all types of people on this prison, according to Ariel, our extraterrestrial dark enlightener.
The net result is that the ISB is unable to escape because they can't remember who they are, where they came from, or where they are. They've been hypnotized to think they're someone, something, sometime, and somewhere other than where they really are.
That really reminds me of the indigenous American Indian here in America. The culture has been wiped out and the story has been told in reverse. You are now thinking you're from a whole other continent and you're calling yourself colors and calling yourself the names of other continents. And I mean, it's very similar to what the old empire is doing to all these ISBs, according to Ariel. Very ironic. The domain officer who was assassinated while in the body of the Archduke of Australia was likewise captured by the old empire force. Because this particular officer was a high-powered ISB compared to most, he was taken away to a secret old empire base under the surface of the planet Mars. They put him into a special electronic prison cell and held him there. Fortunately, this domain officer was able to escape from the underground base after 27 years in captivity. When he escaped from the old Empire base, he returned immediately to his own base in the asteroid belt. His commanding officer ordered that a battle cruiser be dispatched to the coordinates of the base provided by the officer and to destroy the base completely. This old Empire base was located a few hundred miles north of the equator on Mars in the Cydonia region.
Pretty intense and extensive, and like rather detailed, I would say. Like almost a little too detailed. You know what I mean? This is turning slowly into just a book and less of a transcript. You feel me on that? Maybe I'm just looking for a reason for this not to be true at this point. You know, I might be. But still fascinating, man.
Although the military base of the old empire was destroyed, unfortunately much of the vast machinery of the SB4 screens, the electroshock, amnesia, hypnosis machinery continues to function in other undiscovered locations right up to the present moment. The main base or control center for this mind control prison operation has never been found. So the influences of the base or bases are still in effect. Explains why we have so many sheep, so many cows following the herd. No one's deviating. And when we speak of no one knows where these devices, these mind control devices, and this force screen device, shock devices are located, we have to look at the moon, where the soul catcher is located. ISB forces. I'm dropping a dime on the old empire. Go check the moon out, man. In all seriousness, the moon is hollow. We have every indication that it's an artificial structure. And it was supposedly brought here to help Earth, and it does when it comes to tidal waves and other scenarios of the weather. But it's B forces. I'm dead ass serious. Go check the moon out, bro. The domain has observed that since the old Empire space forces were destroyed, there is no one left to actively prevent other planetary systems from bringing their own untouchable ISBs to Earth from all over the galaxy and from other galaxies nearby. Therefore, Earth has become a universal dumping ground for this entire region of space. All of the undesirables right here. You're so special. You are special because you have that spark from the creator that not even the enemy has. You are special, but you're still in a prison according to Ariel. So what's the purpose? You're in a prison. The purpose is to get out the prison. Break out. Let's formulate a plan to get the hell out of here. But you know we too preoccupied with everything else. We gotta go here, we gotta go there, we gotta pay this, we gotta pay that, we gotta watch that, we gotta watch this, gotta see him, gotta see her. It's a wrap. Y'all will be back. Yeah, I might be back. Psych. This in part explains the very unusual mix of races, cultures, languages, moral codes, religious, and political influences among the SB population on Earth. The number and variety of heterogeneous societies on Earth are extremely unusual on a normal planet. Most Sun-type 12 class 7 planets are inhabited by only one humanoid body type or race, if any. So we are a very unusual planetary prison. I mean, we were forced to be unusual. We were forced to be different people together, different spirits, even from different universes. Whoa. From different parts of the universe. One of y'all might be from a whole nother planet from your last life. Shit's getting deep, man. And what makes it so bad is making sense. In addition, most of the ancient civilizations of Earth and many of the events of Earth have been heavily influenced by the hidden hypnotic operation of the old empire base religion. So far, no one has figured out exactly where and how this operation is run or by whom, because it is so heavily protected by screens and traps. The moon. Furthermore, there has been no operation undertaken to seek out, discover, and destroy the vast and ancient network of electronic machinery that create the SB4 screens at this end of the galaxy. Until this has been done, we are unable to prevent or interrupt the electric shock operation, hypnosis, and remote thought control of the old empire prison planet, aka Earth. This type of government emerges with regularity on planets where the citizens abandon personal responsibility for autonomous self-regulation. They frequently lose their freedom to demented SBs who suffer from an overwhelming paranoia that every other SB is their enemy who must be controlled or destroyed. Their closest friends and allies, whom they espouse to love and cherish, are literally loved to death by them. When he says this type of government emerges with regularity when citizens abandon personal responsibility for autonomous self-regulation, which is discipline. When you lack discipline, here you have it. You're in prison. You're living like you're in prison. A prison within a prison. The wardens are the governments. So you have to have autonomy over your own behavior. You have to take responsibility, accountability for your own behavior. You can't blame it on the devil. You can't say the sky god is going to save you. You can't get dipped in water and cleansed. This is what you get. Karma. You also have the case of AI leading us. Social media algorithms leading us down a certain path. Sheep. Cowherd mentality. The domain conquest of the central old empire planets was fought with electronic cannon. The citizens of the planets forming the core government for the old empire are filthy, degraded, slave society of mindless tax-paying workers who practice cannibalism. Violent automotive race tracks and bloody Roman circus type entertainments are their only amusement. Talking about the filthy rich. Once you've had all your vices fulfilled and you had your thrills, what's next? Now it's time to get bloody. Now it's time to do odd shit. Racetracks. NASCAR. I hope he ain't talking about y'all. A priesthood or prison guards were used to help reinforce the idea that an individual is only a biological body and is not an immortal spiritual being. The individual has no identity. The individuals have no past lives. The individual has no power. Only the gods have power, and the gods are a contrivance of the priests who intercede between men and the gods they serve. Men are slaves to the dictates of the priests who threaten eternal spiritual punishment if men do not obey them. So basically, the middleman game. You need a middleman for your spirit. Come over here. I connect you with this dude over here, God. What else would one expect on a prison planet where all prisoners have amnesia and the priests themselves are prisoners? The intervention of the domain force on Earth has not been entirely successful due to the secret mind control operation of the old empire that still continues to operate. And one such instance resulted in a very tragic misunderstanding, misinterpretation, and misapplication of the concept. The idea was perverted and applied to mean that there is only one ISB instead of the truth that everyone is a ISB. Obviously, this was a gross incomprehension and an utter unwillingness to take responsibility for one's own power. Take responsibility for your own spirit, for your own spiritual health, for your own education, for your own everything. It's you. Not Sky Daddy, not Jesus, not Buddha, not Muhammad, none of them. It's you. The middleman, they out of here. Now you know. And knowing is half the battle. The old empire priests managed to corrupt the concept of individual immortality into the idea that there is only one all-powerful ISB and that no one else is or is allowed to be an ISB. Obviously, this is the work of the old empire amnesia operation. It is easy to teach this altered notion to beings who do not want to be responsible for their own lives. Slaves are such beings. As long as one chooses to assign responsibility for creation, existence, and personal accountability for one's own thoughts and action to others, one is a slave. There's some more information in here. I think you got the gist of this whole concept. If people knew the truth, if this was the truth and people knew it, how would they behave? How would the truth change this society? If this was the truth, if the things that they know are the truth were presented to us, how would this society change? Because what we're stuck in now is obviously not working. I tell people that all the time. You praying to this, you bowing to that, you going here, you going to the house of the Lord, and what's the result of this society? Is it getting better or worse? Are people being inspired to be better people, or are they straying away from that? Just lost. They know something's not right with that, but they don't know. They need the truth. But here we go once again, Dark Enlightenment. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Shouts out to Area 52 once again. Brilliant job on that piece. And we're gonna hope we get off this prison. Peace to the gods and the earth. Yo, let me out of here. The meat prison and the earth prison. Let me out of here. Till next time, y'all. Take it easy. Take accountability for your own. Till next time. Dark Enlightenment. Ladies, braves, and gentlemen. Peace.
I don't like this. I don't like, I don't like this at all. If this is what's going on, this is not cool.